America leads the world in medicine development. It matters. We get new medicines first, nearly 3 years faster. 5 million Americans go to work because we make medicines here at home. And not relying on other countries keeps us safe. But China is racing to overtake us. Will we let them, or will we choose to stay ahead? When America leads, America cures. Let's tell Washington to keep us in the lead.
Learn how at americacures.com. Paid for by Pharma.
Folks, most energy drinks taste like a dare you loss. Well, Bucked Up fixed that. It's genuinely delicious, science-backed, clean energy without the garbage. But Bucked Up didn't stop at energy drinks. Their lightly carbonated protein drinks deliver 25 grams of protein per can. Clear protein, not milky or thick. And yes, it's insanely delicious. Bucked Up is giving away an island vacation. No purchase necessary. Ends May 30th, 2026. See buckedupenergy.com for details and where you can also find the store nearest you. Get bucked up and feel like $1,000,000.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I probably should have mentioned that our friend Dusty May is going to rejoin us. I'm grateful for that. Wow. We don't really deserve it. The last time he was on with us.
Do I need to get in a Waymo?
The last time he was on with us, Zaslow was disrespectful throughout the interview by driving to South Beach in a driverless car. Anyway, the head coach of the national champion Wolverines told us he'd come back on if they won. And so now he's going to come back on. David Sampson will be on with us a little bit later in the show. But Lamar Jackson, which is where I should have ended up earlier if I'd been thinking straightly. Lamar Jackson has shown up at camp, and I think something interesting has happened in Baltimore. It's been one of the most stable franchises there. They even ran Mike Tomlin off the road. Like, they're a wildly stable thing. And not quietly, the quarterback won a fight over the leadership of that team that has that being Lamar Jackson's MVP team. He got in negotiations with a league that was colluding against him with no agent.
To be a wide receiver.
Nope. Well, after that, actually.
Even during the QB.
When he's an MVP of the league and is a free agent and no team needs him because everything is colluded, like the owners were not going to get into a bidding war for the MVP of the league and change their salary structure. That happened, what I'm saying here, Zaslow, somehow quietly. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson, okay, in the age of the diva quarterback and the diva wide receiver without an agent, Lamar Jackson now runs the Ravens. And he runs the Ravens when he cannot afford to lose a single step. The Ravens are now, structurally, they've been for a long time through their mafioso owner and Ozzie Newsome and everyone else for 25 years, whistling through his teeth. For 30 years, the Ravens have been right there with the Patriots and the best of the best through a whole assortment of quarterbacks. They're the best organization, and now it's Lamar Jackson's. It belongs to him. They ran off a Harbaugh, golden royalty in the sport. And now, after we saw a year, Bill Polian yelling at the beginning of that, that's not a quarterback, not in our league. That's a wide receiver. Now he loses a little bit of skill. How much skill? He's still got great passing skill. But what people are worried about are the this much that made him better athletically when you can't be that at 29 in that sport. If you're getting used to LeBron playing at 41, not in that sport, not with what they do to their bodies. Lamar Jackson has ground through his ligaments too, playing the way that he plays. And if he loses a step, what does it mean that the Ravens are playing in a margin of, if Lamar loses a step, we're no longer a great organization?
You would think him showing up to the first day of OTAs wouldn't be news, but it is news because Lamar Jackson hasn't shown up to the first day of OTAs consistently throughout his time in Baltimore.
And it's new coach.
it's a new coach, and it's also a sign that I think Lamar understands how important this season is for him, because the John Harbaugh excuse is gone. If you talk to people in the know like I have, problem there was John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson not exactly being on the same page. John Harbaugh trying to hold Lamar Jackson a little bit more accountable. Lamar Jackson not exactly being a fan of that. Lamar Jackson has been given some liberties that you see around the league with certain stars, but liberties that are special for the Baltimore Ravens. Now he is at a point where we got rid of John Harbaugh. We have a new coach. You are still our quarterback. We're trying to seize on this window, but you got zero guaranteed money coming to you after 2027. They can get rid of you at any time, and this is a quarterback that's 29 years old, a quarterback like we've never seen in this league before, with physical traits that have ascended him to the heights of multiple-time MVP. But if he loses just a little bit of a step, and there are signs of that,
Are there signs of a little bit of a lost step?
I am afraid he's about to lose a step. Ooh. And by conceding that, gentlemen, I think he might have lost a half step.
Wow. Oh. But when you're 6 steps ahead, losing a half a step.
He wasn't 6 steps ahead. He was like 2.5 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
How many steps equal like a win? Like if he's this,
if he loses a step,
2 halves is 1.
Zaz, I think we're in agreement mathematically, without any of the advanced metrics, that if Lamar Jackson loses a step, the Ravens are doomed.
Here's what you're not considering: losing a half step around Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt might result in death.
Wow! So we're not even talking games here. We're talking a half step can be end of life.
It could be.
What if you lose a half a step, but you're hungrier? So
I don't doubt his hunger.
So he's like hungrier, it balances out. His hunger level's gone up, but his step has gone down a half.
I don't know about that.
There are plenty of dudes that when they approach that, okay, doubt my physical traits, I'm going to work out harder, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life, and then the way they play the game catches up to them.
Can we talk, though, for just a second in the analysis of what it takes to be MVP of that league, that physical a league, okay, in your prime and whatever the prime is? Because I assume we all think that Josh Allen is going to be the MVP for a while or in the conversation because his body type is going to hold up or has held up against almost everything, even though he, too, plays hurt 1,000 different ways. A quarterback who was questioned at the very beginning, could this play in this league as a quarterback by the 6-time executive of the year? And the answer from that 6-time executive of the year was no, you don't draft him as a quarterback. That guy runs through his body, and at 29, when you say just be more athletic than everyone else, the answer is no. It's going to have to be from the pocket. Like, you saw that last year. However injured he already is, I don't know if that's him or him trying to play hurt, but last year, that wasn't Lamar Jackson. No. That was not an MVP of the league. That's not someone who's a threat on both corners to run 40 yards. That's somebody who's going to have to win from the pocket.
No, you'd be surprised, but the advanced passing measurements actually really love Lamar Jackson, but we've seen it with guys like Aaron Rodgers, and he was older, but when you lose a step...
10 years older, though, Mike.
Yeah, I know, but when you lose a step in that league, things unravel. We've seen it with Russell Wilson at a younger age than we've come to expect. We've seen it with Cam Newton. This is a concern that I have with Josh Allen. I do think it's safe to say, like, when your physical skills diminish even a little bit, when you're that far ahead of the rest of the pack, what does that look like?
It's happened fairly suddenly because 2 years ago in 2023, he's the MVP. In 2024, he throws 41 touchdown passes. Fantastic season. Could have been the MVP again. Looked like he had gained a step.
What?
It looked like he gained a step.
No, he's right. He's right. He's right.
No.
Yes.
He's right. Greg's right.
Like in 23 and 24, Lamar Jackson
he gained a step. I've never heard of gaining a step. He was the MVP, and then he gained a step?
That was 3 years ago.
But what that means is he's actually lost a step and a half because he lost what he had gained.
No. Hold on.
So you're saying
two steps forward, one step back.
Back to where he was.
He's confirming what Mike is saying. Mike, he agrees with you. He gained a step, but he lost a step and a half. Therefore, he's lost half a step.
Right.
Wow.
The net loss is half a step, bordering on 2/3 of a step.
Yeah. That's where I land.
Do we do 2/3 of a step?
I think he's lost the step. I think, guys, we know this. You guys think last year was an injury year, or it's the beginning of what his future is going to look like?
Injury year. He was just off, like Greg said, where he should have won the MVP, where he threw 41 touchdowns, 4 picks, and ran for almost 1,000 yards.
Okay, but the injury year matters. Just like the injury year that happened before that matters.
He had COVID 7 times.
That's another part of this. And he's like the only NFL star that we've ever had to worry about load management with because he had his contract in which, the league colluded against him. Lamar Jackson, throughout his entire career, has proven people wrong repeatedly. And I think this year, there is more skepticism on him than ever because a lot of the excuses are out. This is the very tail end, I think, of what this Ravens window is with Lamar Jackson being a superhuman at the position. So I'm curious to see how it plays out.
No, nobody's a fan of L-Jack like me. He's been a Greg Zlobo stalwart for years. I've drafted him a lot in fantasy.
Do you think that name's going to catch on, L-Jack?
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. But I'll tell you this.
He's been on the podcast.
He was a fantasy nightmare last season. Not just mediocre, a nightmare.
That's important analysis.
He was a fantasy nightmare.
I'm listening.
That's a microcosm for where his career is headed.
You expect giant stats from him, and when you don't get giant stats, the fantasy head is wrong. That is excellent analysis.
Okay, we're all dancing around what's obvious with Lamar Jackson.
Dancing swords.
Okay, we're all dancing around the fact that right now he's the great 2-time MVP who has been a career disappointment.
Okay.
He's never won. He's never led his team to a Super Bowl. He's 3-5 in the playoffs.
That's harsh, dude.
The
career disappointment.
The pressure is on Lamar Jackson to prove it in the postseason.
Yes.
Just like it is on Josh Allen. There's no difference.
Yes, I agree with that. But a dude that was being projected as a wide receiver by Hall of Fame executives, I don't think that's a disappointment by any measure.
So no, this is great for a number of different reasons, okay? But Greg Cody saying, okay, that the big unspoken elephant in the room is that Lamar Jackson, multiple-time MVP, who was never supposed to be a quarterback in the league, is a disappointment, is something you guys want to seize on. But we're not going to seize on Mike just shrugging his shoulders and saying, and the league colluded against him. Like, as a matter of fact, he was the MVP of the league. Everyone needed a quarterback. Nobody bid on him. Why does no one object to that?
That's strange.
Like,
Pablo did.
But why is this? Why is he, like, the absurdity of saying is fact. Yeah, the league colluded there. The league colluded to keep costs down by not giving an MVP quarterback at the end of his career what they would have given him if everybody was fighting over the money.
Yeah, but collusion was involved with Colin Kaepernick as well. The reason it's not a bigger deal is that collusion can't be proved and is never admitted.
But my point to you is that one conversation merits serious argument, and it's not whether or not Lamar Jackson's career is as a disappointment when all he did was threaten the league's salary structure, and then the owners just shrugged and said, yeah, we're not going to pay you like that.
I think it's because we all know that it's true, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Josh Allen benefited from this until they lost to the Broncos. Lamar Jackson benefited from this until last year, where guys like Nick Wright and big-time voices in the sport are like, hey, you're not doing jack in the playoffs, L-Jack.
Thank you.
He is now at that point where he not only has to do that, but also answer some questions that the franchise may have about him because they have removed every excuse.
Well, but Chris, can you get me? I want to coax Mike out here because he's an insider, pretending and hiding in the outsider's world. But he said something during some of what sounded like his reporting around Lamar Jackson that felt like...
oh, my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come, everyone. Come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
As you heard him just say casually, because there must be details here, Lamar Jackson has privileges with the Ravens that other Ravens do not have. You said it as a matter of fact. I've not seen that reported anywhere.
No, because I value my sources. And there's multiple on this front.
What's the point in a source if you're not going to give the information?
Well, because I did give the information. You want to hear specifics, and I'm saying I'm not going to give you specifics because I value my relationships, which is why I'm able to tell you with full confidence that Lamar Jackson has certain star privileges that are different. And
like?
Good. That's good work, Zaz. Good work by you. And
that's how you follow up in journalism, Greg.
Well,
is that right?
I want to. This is what I want to corner Mike on at least a little bit, okay? Because you didn't file it as a happens to know. I coaxed out a happens to know because it's
so wise.
It sounded like you were giving us information that I haven't heard reported elsewhere. And Zaz is not wrong to ask: is there any more information there that you'd like to share, or can I just throw the hypothetical at you of yes, of course, star player stays apart from his teammates and lives a different life in some sorts of ways because that was the Barry Bonds diva deal. He got a better hotel suite on the road.
Didn't we learn that about Jimmy too?
And a lot of people, like a lot of stars. Do we want to ask any follow-up questions here?
Look at the sandbox that you're playing in. You guys are doing great. No, I'm good saying what I said. And John Harbaugh took issue with some of these liberties that were afforded to Lamar Jackson and have been, by the way. And Lamar Jackson has excelled. And I don't think Lamar Jackson is alone in the league in getting some of these privileges. He was kind of alone with that franchise in getting some of these privileges. Some of that stuff makes people uncomfortable. And when you're not as available or as excellent, or you're not having the results that you've come to expect, things like what happened in Baltimore happen. Remember, it's not just the first time John Harbaugh and the Ravens were at a crossroads. It was announced John Harbaugh was leaving that franchise. Lamar Jackson got installed as the quarterback. Lamar Jackson saves John Harbaugh's bacon, to which he was bought in on some of this, but you get some diminishing returns. People start resenting some of those star privileges. Lamar Jackson won that power struggle at an age, with a skill set, with a guy that's not as readily available as you maybe want him to be. He won the power struggle against a head coach that won a Super Bowl with that franchise. Excuses are gone now. He's got no guaranteed money after 2027. Let's see how this plays out as he's 29 years old.
So listen to what he's saying there, though, on the contract details on basically what he's saying. Lamar Jackson is in a contract year. He's at the end of what would be his physical prime. At any other time in human expense of the body that football does over 10 years, where you're like, yeah, if you're going to play like that, you're probably not going to play like that till you're 41 or 45. Brady can play like that. But if you're going to play like that, we're buzzsawing through running backs 3 and 5 years. We're going to get Lamar Jackson's best in this window. He's in a contract year against the entirety of the machine. Like, this guy has fought. Do you realize that if Lamar Jackson says, damn right, privileges, I was the MVP of the league in the bigger sport than basketball. If basketball stars are going to have this power, I don't even need an agent to exert mine. Give me my money, and I'll do some appearances, and I'm a star. And I'm a star in the modern age because I'm the MVP of the league that America's culture values the most. So, of course, he'd arrive at the position.
Hey, Roy, buddy.
Yo.
You know that energy shift when the game gets good and everybody, all together, in unison, knows to stand up on their feet?
Oh, absolutely, Mike.
Yeah, you've been at many big-time sporting events. You know that moment quite well. That's what it's like when you take your first sip of Cuervo.
Oh, delicious.
It's the signal that says, we're not checking the time anymore, pal. It's when small talk turns into stories. Cuervo, man, it's that high-five a random stranger effect. That's right. The game is popping. You're hugging people you never met before. That's the kind of energy that Cuervo brings. It's so smooth, so delicious. That's the Cuervo effect. Keep it Cuervo.
In sports, championships aren't won alone. The one with the right people around you. That's exactly what Intuit TurboTax brings to taxes. With TurboTax Expert Full Service, match with a dedicated tax expert who handles your taxes from start to finish. The experience is seamless. Start in person, finish online, move between both whenever needed. The dedicated tax expert keeps things updated every step of the way so nothing falls between the cracks. Think of it like having a great head coach with a solid game plan. The plays are called, adjustments are made, and the work gets done while everyone stays focused on what actually matters. And just like game film doesn't wait for business hours, neither do taxes. With TurboTax Expert Full Service, you can get any tax question answered at no extra cost, even on nights and weekends during tax season. This is having someone in your corner running the whole operation and helping put points on the board. Get started at TurboTax.com. Only available with Intuit TurboTax Full Service experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Folks, you know the place. Everything can turn in a moment at Augusta. One swing, one hole, and the entire leaderboard shifts. And that's what makes this the perfect week for live betting. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top sportsbook for live betting, has action from the first tee to the final putt, so you can react in real time. And with Same Game Parlay, you can combine finishing positions with player props in one bet. More ways to play, the moments that matter. New Sportsbook customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DAN. That's code DAN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Dan Le Batard.
This is the quickest it goes. Hey, this is the quickest it goes.
Stugotz.
Everybody, this is the quickest it goes. Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Value me in a way that would feel undervalued, and then the owners choke him out.
Which is, I think something that you said there is interesting that I kind of forgot. Part of the collusion, you could, as subtext, you could theorize part of the collusion was the establishment didn't like how unorthodox Lamar Jackson chose to represent himself. Remember, he did load management in a sport where that is not a thing that's associated with it.
Can I ask you guys, though, just the mindset of whatever you imagine somebody in their early 20s who's best in the world at not just athletics, but the corner of entertainment and culture, too. Oh, you're an authentic quarterback, kind of different, much different than all the others. Your constituency might not be what everyone else's constituency is in the age of the Manning cast. Lamar Jackson, unquestioned superstar in that league on merit, earned with arm and legs. Huge star in the league, one of 5 guys, polarized conversation wherever you have it. Of course, Lamar Jackson would come by the opinion, I'll practice when I wish. I'll show up to OTAs when I wish. I'm the star of this team. I grew up in LeBron's age, and I'm the best quarterback. I'm going to behave like Burrow. I know I'm the best. I'm the MVP of the league. And then the owners collude, and we skip past that part. Like, it's a fairly amazing thing to skip past. Wouldn't you agree? Dusty May is with us. I have taken up too much of his time. I didn't know why Chris Cody was waving at me, and then I remembered, we've got a champion in our midst again. He must think we're a sloppy organization. Dusty, thank you for joining us. What do you remember of your last time with us? I was afraid you wouldn't keep your promise and come back because Zaslow was distracting the last time you were on with us. And Greg Cody was singing Foul Owl on the Prowl.
Foul Owl on the Prowl. Congratulations for the championship.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I just remember the Waymo. The self-driving car.
Well, I'm back.
That was the episode.
Yes, he got back okay, Coach.
You're live.
Congratulations. Has your life changed the last couple of days?
I don't know. We've kind of been hunkered down. It's portal season, and we have a couple guys going through the draft process. So there's a lot going on. Hopefully we get our roster done, and then we can take a deep breath and enjoy it a little bit.
That seems not right. It seems like you should be joyous and not have to get immediately right back to work.
Delayed gratification, Dan.
Okay, so really you're already, so now is the time to capitalize is the point, right? You're at the height of the business. You can't let your foot off the gas. This is the best time to keep building.
Yeah, this next week or two is the sweet spot. This will determine if we have enough to play in Detroit in the Final Four next year. This window gives us an opportunity to put together another really, really good team. So we've got to fundraise, we've got to connect with the right people and keep the guys in our program that are here, and then add a little bit to that mix.
Coach, I know players like Lendenborg is going to wind up going to the NBA draft, but are you finding yourself having to recruit back your own players?
Not necessarily. The ones that are in the NBA, we just have to be patient while they go through their process. But the other returners have all like myself, said that they 100% wanted to come back, and so now it's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But no, there hasn't been a long recruitment process with our current players. They've been committed to doing it the way we did it last year, and so we have great competition and some young guys coming in. So, but no, we haven't spent much time re-recruiting our old guys. And to be honest, if they want something else, then we'll have a conversation, but it's not like we're going to try to convince them or trick them to come back. We're going to paint a very clear picture of what this looks like. But it's tough now because the tension and every time you get one player, everyone on your roster feels like that might affect them. And so if you have more than one guy on your roster, then you're facing the scrutiny from everyone.
Dusty, you've gotten right back to business in a way that frightens me. And so the thing that I would love to understand is where the joy in all of this was in terms of reaching your dreams and surpassing them, I would imagine, in some way. Like, I can't even imagine what your last 4 days are like. And the idea that you would have to immerse yourself right back into running the business of it makes it feel like it has less joy around it than it seems like it should from over here.
Yeah, fortunately for me, that's kind of how I'm wired anyway. That moment on the stage is very touching, but the joy is every day in practice. It's how these guys interact with each other, the relationships they're building, the moments with our staff. And then the final prize is just kind of a culmination of all that. But I'll be honest, I was listening to a podcast on the way in this morning, and after the championship, one of our players, he literally was crying during the interview, and that's the closest I've came to breaking down in tears and really enjoying the moment. I didn't quite get there, but I was close. I think someone started honking at me on a red light, so it kept me from it. But
so you almost had a human emotion, but you were able to push it down. And if someone had honked, it would have squirted out of you, but you were able to just push it down like a real man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. They're going to flow. I just don't know when or where, but I do know once we have our roster set for next year, then my feelings. With the roster, then I'm going to enjoy it.
The reason the feet get kicked up.
Yes, no, that's not going to happen. He's got to be a robot animal because he's competing against all the other robot animals, and there's no time to slow down. I have found you honest and charming, and so maybe you can settle discussion we've been having here more honestly and more informed the last couple of days. Michael Malone goes to North Carolina, and I'm saying to myself, perhaps ignorantly, what does he know about the skill set required the day he walks through the door? What he's been doing has nothing to do with the job he has today, and I don't think, he may get qualified at that job, but that's not the job he's been doing because it's a totally different job. Can you walk us through this thicket without disparaging Michael Malone? When I question this hire, because I'm like, his expertise might have been great, but it's not what Dusty May has to do. X's and O's is almost in some ways the least important part of what Dusty May has to do because he's got to run the entirety of a business.
Yeah, Dan, I've tried to actually put we as a staff have put some time trying to think about why we were able to do what we did, because we just put our head down, pour into these guys every single day. And what we've learned is that it's the connection throughout the program and the trust. And so I don't know Coach Malone, obviously being an NBA champion, I would assume that if he can develop trust in his organization with this team, they're going to acquire good players. Everyone at our level has really good players. Some have exceptional players, and this year we did as well. But if he can get everyone in that organization moving in the same direction and bought into the same goal and mission, and they trust him and he trusts them, then he'll be successful. So when people ask me, is this a good hire? There have been several times a guy was hired and I said, man, that's a great hire. And then that guy flopped. And then there have been other times where I said, man, I don't know how that's going to work. And the guy is one of the best coaches in our game. So it's tough to predict. It's a crapshoot, but I would have to spend time with him as a human to guess if it's going to be successful or ultra successful there for him.
Coach, since you won on Monday night, can you tell us about some interactions you've had with some of the former great players at Michigan, like specifically the Fab Five, who, of course, were in attendance?
Yeah, I've been texting with those guys and communicating with them. I actually spoke with Jalen for a while yesterday. C-Webb, Jimmy, all of them, and obviously Juwan and I have developed a strong relationship as he was the first call I made, and actually the second call after I made after taking the Michigan job because I wanted background information on the players and things like that. So those guys have been unbelievable. We've got to do more to honor them. We're trying as a staff to get them even back and more connected. They're iconic. They're synonymous with Michigan basketball, and man, we have a lot of respect for those guys and admiration. So yeah, we've communicated with them regularly since we got the job.
How old were you when the Fab Five were introduced to your life? Like what you were when you were watching the Fab Five play? How old were you?
I take a stab probably 14 or 15. And the only reason I know that is because one year in AAU basketball, our team in Bloomington, Indiana, modeled our uniforms after the Fab Fives. And we were under the Bloomington red umbrella, and we actually became Bloomington blue for a summer and had maize and blue uniforms with the capital B. And so that's the only reason I remember that.
Dusty, you took a team full of transfers, a team full of strangers, won a championship by developing such chemistry. When you look back to the summer and that event you had at your house and the pizza truck, what role did that play in bringing the team together and close-knit?
Pizza.
You know, I think it's just all of those things wrapped up into one. I don't think it was one moment. I don't think it was one event. I think it was just our guys really believed that their best interests are the most important thing that we do. I mean, and the winning is a byproduct of us pouring into them, helping them be their best, and teaching them what winning is and what being a great human being is. And the winning just kind of happened. And also, I think one important component is them seeing our staff as fathers, as husbands, as just normal people outside those lines. And then also just the players connecting with different guys on the team other than the roommates or other than the guys they lift weights with. So on a number of levels, we just try to do that as much as we possibly can because it's a process. We're all learning each other. But I do think trust was developed and earned in all those moments.
Dusty, I love pizza parties. How do you decide how many pizzas you're going to get? Like, is it like 3 slices per guy? How are we handling this?
Put it on the poll. Do you love a pizza party? Everybody loves.
No, it's a pizza truck, and he pulls up, and everyone he throws out several
smart.
The
food
garlic
truck.
bread,
Yeah.
and then you can order whatever kind of pizza you want.
Well, but Dusty, I appreciate Dusty's no bullshit, but he's also really gentle because he just told you, really, Greg, you think we're champions because I had a pizza party?
Yes.
Is that what? Like,
It had to help.
He just said there were many such events, and it wasn't the one pizza party. He was very delicate about how he did that with
That was
you.
the fire starter, the pizza party.
It is. You're right. It was. You know what?
it.
I stand corrected. It was the fire
Thank
starter. You said the last time that you were on with us that you didn't expect it to happen this fast. I don't know what you would have. Take us back right before you're going on that run at FAU. The best of your dreams ends where? Like you're already beyond your expectations, are you not?
Dan, I played one class basketball in the state of Indiana at a small school, and we felt like if we won our sectional, then that was our pinnacle moment. And we never thought about winning the state championship. And I think a lot of the low and mid majors feel like if you make the NCAA tournament, you just accomplished a national championship or a Final Four. And so we just went on that climb. And then when we went to the Sweet 16, actually, Kyle Church on my staff said after the first round game, he said, we're going to be double-digit favorites to go to the Sweet 16. Say that out loud. And I said, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's just focus on the preparation. And then we made the Sweet 16, and our mindset was like, we just made the Sweet 16 at FAU. This is incredible. And at that point, we're like, why stop now? We obviously are really, really good and talented. And so this one felt a lot different than that one. We were just lost in the fight. This one, the first couple rounds, I felt a little bit I felt more pressure internally that we can't screw this up because of how much talent and the type of season we've had. And so both had a wide range of emotions, but they felt completely different.
Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
It felt better, yes. And once again, like I know that I'm off. When that shot went in on San Diego State, the first thing I thought was we made several errors.
Zaslow, did you just ask him if winning the championship felt better than losing the championship?
No, it felt better.
It seems obvious.
Did it feel better than losing felt bad?
That's not what you asked
missed
him,
that.
I didn't say it like that?
No, Zaz, but it's
man.
good you got to the heart of it. He confirmed that winning is better
guys,
than losing.
we run a very psychological logical, safe program, and you can make mistakes, and as long as you learn from them.
Did you understand what I was asking, though, Coach?
But he's being gentle.
No. I tried to think of the nicest way to answer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he thinks you're a sucker.
I was going to let Zaz slide on that.
Because that's a stupid question otherwise.
You know about that winning being better than losing, pal?
Oh, man.
You just asked the man if winning felt better than losing.
No,
That's what
Winning the title, feel better than not getting to the title game at all?
No, that's not what I meant. Did winning feel better than losing felt bad? Oh, man. I blew it.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop. You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Dan Le Batard.
Greg, how's your birthday going so
I
far?
invented it. It's going fantastic. My wife and I are staying home tonight. We're watching the debate on TV. We're going to do something special for dinner. It's a nice day for me so far.
Stugotz.
That sounds like not a super nice night. The debate.
Old people love that shit.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Old people do love that shit. And I'm old now. I can't deny it anymore.
Now? This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Hey guys, I would like to plug the Paramount Plus docu-series Made in March. It's followed us in Kansas throughout the year, and we haven't seen the final episode yet.
Jessica's, yes, her fiance Lehman did that documentary. Evidently, he was in all the crevices of your program. You gave him real access, and you're here. I fail when I do not mention for Dusty May as part of the promotion of what he does to continue to build his business, that you've allowed real access to the story, to the insides of your business, for people to see what it takes to build a championship business.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit naive to this, and so the first 3 episodes, the reviews we've gotten was it's actually real. It's how we are behind the scenes, and so it's gotten great reviews so far. The last episode, I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet. The 4th and final episode that goes all the way through, but for me personally, it feels like almost like a scrapbook where you forget all these moments because you're just getting to the next thing. So it's been pretty cool to follow. And Lee and those guys with the Religion of Sport, they're as good as it gets. And so, as I went on here, I think it'll be great for our program because we really pulled the curtain back.
Zaslow is still reeling. I am so sorry.
Stupid question.
Yeah, Zaslow
really
is hurting here. Dusty, I want you to settle something for us here. We've been talking about for a couple of days. If you buy an $18.50 beer at concessions, are you obligated to tip?
I think you get guilted into it.
Are you not a strong man of your own convictions?
No, I do the tip. I go $1. $1 is my no tip.
Okay, so that's as low as you'll go. Dusty. But for handing you a can of beer that's overpriced at least 18 times overpriced, you also just feel guilted into an extra $1. That's the right ethical thing to be as a human being.
I was actually, one of my many jobs growing up, Dan, was a server. And so I have a lot of empathy for those guys if they're making the $2 an hour like I used to, other than tips.
Societal norms, Dano.
Who is the best team you faced this year?
UConn and Arizona both were exceptional. They're in their own way. And I hate to say Arizona because obviously we played really well. But going into that game, I thought we were looking at ourselves in the mirror. And then UConn, because of their style of play and toughness, they were as much of a challenge as anyone. They're just so physical.
But you lost to Duke. You lost to Duke. It's one of the few times you did lose. You had the best regular season in the history of the conference. So
yeah.
So Duke is not in that conversation?
I think there's 4 or 5 teams that were all about the same, and it just comes down to matchups, timing. Duke was one of those teams. We didn't play that well against Duke, but I think obviously Cam Boozer's exceptional and some of those other guys, but I thought Arizona was deeper. They were like us where they went 8 or 9 deep of real dudes all the way down. And then UConn, just with their winning pedigree and the experience they have, with Caravan being a guy that's played in the national championship game 3 times, they were tough to play against.
Coach, I'm curious in basketball how you guys coach violence, because we all know playing in the stadiums, as that sport has for several decades now, you even went to the big house to try to handle the depth perception. Final Four, national championship games, they're usually pretty ugly. But inside, I haven't seen that much violence. It was impossible to get a bucket because several arms were in the air, hips were going against hips. How do you coach that?
Long arms, big people.
And is it something that you learn on the fly? Like, I knew this was going to be ugly, but that's Dan Hurley over there. How do we get legally ugly in this sport?
Well, there are ways that we teach fouling without getting called for a foul, even with hand checking. A lot of coaches, especially in our league, are great at teaching what we call the hot stove, where you just stick them and then show your hands, and you almost see the officials start to blow the whistle. And then as soon as you show their hands, they don't really want to stop play. So there's a lot of little tricks and nuance that goes into it. But last year we didn't handle the physicality well enough, and we got beaten in the Sweet 16. And this year we went and got guys that looked like Merez Johnson and Yaxel Lindbergh and Imara and threw those guys out there and into the warfare.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's good. That's good evolution.
Tony's trying out back here.
Coach figured it out, though. He's got it right. Tony watched the game.
You got a short elbow on him, Coach. Right? You hit him with, hey, what happened?
That's a real good answer.
Yes, it's the hot. What is it called? The hot stove.
Hot stove.
You hit him with the hot stove.
With the hot stove.
MLB free agency.
Dusty, thank you for.
Actually, the Heat made this one famous: punching guys with your chest. Punch these guys with your chest as you show your hands.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they did. What do we have here? Thank you, Dusty. I appreciate the time. Thank you for being on with us, and congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I'm really sorry, Coach.
I can't believe this. I can't wait to get back to it. Dusty can stay here if he wants to relive it with us. An unbelievably bad question from Zaslow, an all-timer. I came into today's show asking what has been the best sound from the week. It's just Thursday, and we have some all-timers this week, but are we going to do better than this?
Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
We looked at each other. We're like, man,
that was a stupid question.
Stupid question. You are a stupid man asking that.
Sucker in front of the coach.
A stupid man asked this question.
Coach, did the winning feel better than losing in the Final Four with FAU?
I almost jumped in and answered for Dusty May. Yes, it did.
That's not a good question.
Well, Zaz, since we're already here, I might as well let everyone know. I don't think he'll dispute it because he tends to sink into his mistakes. He called for the ball. I wanted to go, and he's like, "No, I got something good. I got whatever you got. I got something."
So you had him his ass in the post with a hand up, saying, "Give me the ball."
Am I misrepresenting Zaz? Zaz was saying, "I had the ball. I had the ball in the post, and I know what I want to ask." And Zaz is like, "No, Dan, give me the ball. I deserve the ball." Am I misrepresenting anything here?
Yeah, I thought I had a good question with different words.
Yeah. You know, you took me off the hook, right?
Did he?
Yeah, for sure.
Did he? All right. Well, we have to do that.
Luke Thomas or Dusty May? Come on, what are we doing?
Let's ask. We'll do it with David Sampson next. Get all the sounds together, and we'll let him judge which is the worst or the best of these.